We wouldn't have the things we have today if it weren't for you guys. I don't think I'd still be married. I don't think I'd have 3 kids. I'd have 2. Cars we drive, the house we live in, and the lifestyle we're able to lead. It's nice.
So I was probably working 70 hours a week in the shed, and it was cold. I used to have an electric wire that ran across my garden, so rain or snow, there was just an electric wire, so it was a little bit dodgy. So yeah, there I was doing 70 hours a week, and I was probably doing 50 grand a year in GRF, doing everything: bookkeeping, company secretary submissions, bits of payroll, bits of bookkeeping and things like that. So that was that, and now we're up to a team of 15 across the 3 sites, and we're turning over about 1 million GRF. In terms of hours worked, I always say the same thing. I tell my wife I work 40 hours, but I probably work about 35. I like a game of golf, or a new thing that I've got involved in is horse racing and things like that. So I kind of got forced into an accountancy practice. I'd never worked in practice in my life before, so I had no idea what we were doing, and basically did everything wrong that you possibly could. So we started to build this accountancy practice. I was just working silly hours. I had various offices in Leeds, jumped around a lot trying to find a cheaper deal. Was in Leeds city centre, parking was too expensive, moved out to a serviced office, paying a fortune to sit in a box. So I decided that, well, I might as well just put a box at the bottom of my garden and work out of there. So I did that, which was a really good move in terms of cash flow, because it saved a lot of money. And then the business started to grow. I had more and more work, but again was underquoting for everything, looking at people's accounts saying, oh, they charged you 600 quid last year, I'll do it for 500. All the mistakes that everybody makes when they first set up. And it got to a point where I was working 7 days a week, 12, 13 hours a day. I'm not making any money. I'm worrying about whether I could go to Asda and whether my card would decline, or where am I going to get my mortgage money from, and things like that. So it was really tough. It was really tough. And if you speak to my wife, she'll tell you we had a 2-year-old at the time. She was heavily pregnant with a second child, and it was, it put massive strain on the relationship. Although I was only 60 feet away at the bottom of the garden, I was always preoccupied, or always working and things like that. And one of the things I've always said is that I missed out in those early years on Joshua growing up. Missing him grow up. If there was a room of 6 people, I'd be the 6th person he'd go to, and that's quite hard to take. And that was a big driver for me to change the business. We'd always skated around the AVN tools. We started going around all the free resources and everything, and that added some real value. And we came to the Proactivity, which used to be back then, over in Manchester, and we came there in late 2012, I think it was. And we came away with the sole intention of, because you did that great kickstart promise, get money back after 6 months if you do X, Y, and Z. Put it on a interest-free credit card sort of thing, drew the money down, paid it all out, and the idea was to come back. But so quickly it became apparent that AVN provided all the tools that you needed to provide the service that I really wanted to, which was moving it more into the sort of FD background, which was the stuff that I was strongest in, rather than the accounting, as in the production of accounts and things like that, and it just gave us the tools, and it made sense, and we were able to build the practice that way, really. We implemented Times Up, which is obviously the AVN tool for pricing and creating fixed price agreements. And the beauty of that was the biggest turning point in our business, to price properly. So I remember the first 3 clients we trialed it on, because again, we went to the Proactivity class, and it was just try it. You can't be any worse off. Just try it with the new prices. And the first 3 clients we quoted on, we won, and the difference in the fees paid for our membership to AVN for a year on the first 3 clients. So we knew we were onto something good at that point. What to say to clients, because I'm no marketeer or anything like that. So how to pitch that, all those tools were available in System Builder to go, this is how you introduce it, this is how you introduce the direct debit facility. And we did those things hand in hand, and we had a plan to take us from the 31st of December 2012 right through to basically where we were getting paid 6 months in arrears, to by 31st December 2013 we were getting paid in advance. We're getting no kickback, and then the rest of our fee base went up by 40% throughout the year. So that's just having the tools and then the confidence to go out and say, well, this is how we work. I was talking to a client this morning, exact same thing. Yeah, but you can't do that in my industry. Well, you can, because you choose how you work within that industry. So I think if you've just got the confidence to go and do that, and the tools around you, that, you know, like the system builder, which gives you it, the times up, the direct debit facilities, and it just gave you all those things that you needed to do that, and it just brought it together. So it was a great way to change the business, really. I set myself on a lifestyle target. Right. So what I used there was the personal balance sheet tool, and basically said, this is what I'm worth. And I wasn't very happy with the outcome. And I set myself a target to say, right, these are the things that I want to change. And at the time when I first did it, I had 15 grand's worth of credit card debt. And £15,000 is a lot of money. And I wasn't very happy. I was paying a lot of interest. And one of the things I said, I've got to get this down. I was paying something like £300 a month and not making any inroad into the debt. So one of our personal goals was, I want to pay my credit card off. So I needed 15 grand's worth of income. At the time, I only needed 30 grand to live. So my income target was 45 grand after tax. So then I worked it back. I added back my tax, I added back my overheads, and I added back my direct costs, and that gave me a GRF that I needed to achieve that first year goal. And that we split that then down into two areas, which is number of clients and average fee. So I have two areas that I could then work on. So then I just started to work on those things. How do I get more clients, and how do I drive the fee up? The way we drove the fee up was through the PMI system, which was fantastic, and the price rises through the times up implementation and the direct debits. And the other was how to become better. Well, by having a better service and a better core product, people started to come to us for that as well. So they went hand in hand. So before you know it, you're taking on more clients and earning more money. So that kind of built in that sort of way. So we have clear written down targets, and our year end is December, and my wife and I's anniversary is October. So every year we go away, and one of the things we talk about is what her aspirations for the next year are. And the first year was, we need to clear these debts. The second year was, I want to see more of you, because you're not around as much as I would like you to be. So we did that. And then it went on, and we had an extension, so she wasn't bothered if she saw me, and then we've moved house. So again, it's those sorts of things that have allowed us to do those things. But every year we set down goals. Next year, you know, we want to take a month off in the summer to go to Disney World. That is the aspiration. So the job there is, this business has to be able to run completely without me for a month, although we'll dial in from abroad and things like that, but it has to be in that sort of position. So the systems and the management structure and the people development in the team has been the big focus this year, to be able to, so it can be delivered next year, so we can go for that month in Disney World next year. I think the number system is a phenomenal system. It delivers what clients want rather than the service accountants want to deliver. I think, you know, you've got your old traditional accountants. You ask us to do your accounts and tax and report on it at this point. Industry doesn't want that anymore. They need numbers experts to help them use that vital information to grow. And the PMI system gives them a taste of that. And then ultimately they're good at what they do, but they're not accountants, they're not numbers professionals. So then what they do, as we do, you engage the experts to take you on to that next level, and that's what they bring us in for. So I think the numbers system is a really good thing, because it tells them that we're different. I think our experience, I think we're quite human. So I think, and being able to see the transition of where we've been to where we are now gives people confidence in our abilities to do it, because we are open about our story. We talk about the fact that we were nearly bust, and that we're working 70 hours a week, and we can relate to the situations that they're going through. So that's key. And I think the fact that our team has a license to engage with our clients. Like I said, we had our client social last week, Friday, and it brings a relationship between them. So we're quite ingrained in their transactional, in their business life anyway. You know, we've become very much that trusted advisor that the profession is striving to become, but has always struggled with because of the stigma of, he's just going to stiff me for tax, and he's working for the tax man and not for me. So I think, so they're kind of the three things that work for us: the sort of team, the PMI system, and the way that we are in terms of as a culture. You know, we practice what we preach. So none of our team miss any kids' nativity plays or school plays. They don't work their birthday. There's various bonus schemes that are linked in, so everybody's rewarded with the success of the business, and then because they're bought into it, the business is successful. Yeah, I mean, we introduced, it was all about the numbers, basically, so, which is the PMI system, which is in AVN, and I remember going to the masterclass thinking, this PMI system will change my life and change my business, and it absolutely did. So when we came away from that, what we did was we we started to integrate that into our core compliance offering, so it helped us differentiate ourselves from the competition, give them a system and a process, which is what all business owners really want, rather than just an accountant who says, here's my accounts, here's my tax. They want someone to help them grow their business, and the PMI system, the Performance Measurement Improvement System, is exactly what that does. That instantly set us apart from the competition, and it allowed us to increase our price even further from what we'd already done. So very, very quickly we made a huge inroad into our prices and our profitability. Same number of clients, the tools that are available, things like the benchmark, the FPR tools, all the tax bills, take minutes to run, but adds a massive amount of value. So you were making massive profit and generating opportunities to talk to clients about things where they would buy more things from you. So everything just catapulted into creating purchasing opportunities rather than selling opportunities. Rationally, it got to a point where I couldn't do any more. So the business was at a standstill. We couldn't grow. And it wasn't giving me the lifestyle that my wife decided that she wanted at that point in time. No, I'm only kidding. It didn't give us the lifestyle that we wanted, and I was doing things that actually I don't overly enjoy. As I said at the beginning, I was a finance director to start with, rather than a year-end accounts production person, and I don't particularly enjoy the production of accounts. So to get that off my desk quickly was a big personal goal of mine. So that was the big driver. And the way I rationalised it was I did the survey. So I spoke to clients and just said, look, how would you feel if I didn't prepare your accounts? I'm still at the end of the phone. I'm still the person you talk to. And they were absolutely fine with that. Like I said, it did bash my ego a bit because I thought I was the all-important person to them. But actually, they don't care, does it? Because they know it's going to be right because it's through you. The people who have handed it down to are technically competent. If they're not, they shouldn't be working for you. So you knew it was going to come out in a good stand. Yes, there's a review process. Yes, there's work and there's training that you have to put into these people. But actually, if they're doing all the production work, that freed me up to do the strategic stuff and to help develop the business even further. And as a result of that, the business has grown quicker rather than me being stuck behind a trial balance or a tax computation or something like that. So one of the things we've implemented is a personal development plan of the team, because I recognise I can't do everything and not everybody will do everything the way I want it to do. So what we've got to do is make sure that they have a learning pathway to take them to whatever level of their career they want to be. So we've got 3 sort of stages. You've got your, we haven't quite defined the names of them yet, we call them accountancy professionals at the moment. So they're sort of all your back office team, bookkeeping, VAT, CIS, payroll. Then you've got your accounts prep team who are preparing the accounts, preparing draft and corporation tax, and then it goes into the sort of client manager role, so the person who retains the relationship between the client. So then they manage the year end, the process, and they oversee everything. These are the things that we've picked up, and it's about, all this thing is available, and it gives you the direction in System Builder and the tools that are available. It talks about how to wow clients and things like that. I think is either how wow, I can't remember the exact, the wow how sort of thing, and it talks about just little things you can do. Not many people like going to see an accountant. So we try to make it as welcome as possible. So you've got your name on the board, you have it on there. You come in, it's a nice warm place. We have testimonials all over. They're on the wall there. There's a book out the front with a picture of my kids on saying, "Our daddy says it's a great place to work." Yeah. So, and it's those little things that make people feel at ease. We have a drinks menu where, if you want a beer, we'll have a beer. We don't have to drink tea and coffee. There's champagne in the fridge if you want champagne. You can do what you want, and it's just that nice, relaxed atmosphere when you walk in. The girls know your name when they answer the door, so it's not a case of who are you and who are you here to see. It's known. They knew you will come in. Hi Shane, how are you? And those sorts of things. And the more people come, the more people learn, and then it becomes a personal relationship. So everything is systemized. So just on that instance alone, there is a system on how we set up the meeting room. So the girls upstairs, what they will do is they'll come in and they'll know that you were coming in. They'll set the meeting up, a meeting room, if they can, an hour before, so that it becomes a seamless sort of thing. The literature we leave on the desks for prospects, everything is different. So if someone's coming in for a board view service, we have our board view things. If someone's coming in as a prospect, we have the Welcome to Northern Accountants information in front of them. It's all laid out, it's all branded, and nothing's left to chance. So it's not a case of, if I remember to set your room up, it will be great. It's about that instant perception, and it's just systemised, and that's part of their role, is to do that. We started running off the board view services, right, which is where we become somebody who the client becomes accountable to, and somebody who will challenge the numbers, because we understand the numbers. We can't be fobbed off, because if that doesn't stack up, it don't stack up. Whereas maybe with your team, you can fob it off a little bit. And I think it's important, because running a business is a lonely place. Because where do you go? You can't go to your team, because do you want them to know every single thing about your business, or do you want them to have any doubts about your ability in terms of your leadership or the performance of the company? You probably don't. And I think that board view service has allowed businesses to kick on. And it just helps them. We ask stupid questions, mainly to understand, but also then it makes people to stop to think about, well, why do I do things this way? Why do I spend that money on this or that, on things like that? So having those challenges, and what we found is those businesses really, really kick on very, very quickly once we've established that the accounting information is right, and then they can start making proper business decisions. So we do a lot of that, because I do believe that things like board view and board meetings are essential to every business, whether you turn over 30 grand or you turn over £3 million. It makes no difference. I do believe you should look at those numbers every month if you're going to affect them, because you then set your KPIs and what you're going to do, set your targets on the one-page plan, which is an extended part of the numbers system, or PMI system, which is known as within the ABN modules and suites, allowing you to charge much, much higher fees than you're ever going to get from your compliance work. Charge out rate for that is pretty good. My proudest moment today is what we've been able to do in support one of our clients when we got featured in that book in terms of a professional development. I mean, we took him from very much like the story that we had, he was working in a side extension on his business partner's house, and they were struggling for cash, and they were unfortunate that they weren't able to they weren't able to have children, so they were going down the adoption process, and because of the house that they lived in, it wasn't big enough. So it was a 1-bedroom house, and the option said, you need more. So one of the things that he came to us with in his personal goals when we did all that is, I need a 3-bedroom semi. And that's what we helped him achieve. We put the systems and the process in, and he got the 3-bedroom semi, and he was able to adopt. He's now extended that semi-detached house, so it's a nice big house. Miraculously then had a baby of their own, so it's great. So being able to be involved in putting the systems and processes in him that enabled him to achieve those things is a fantastic feeling. So quite possibly my proudest moment. The biggest bit of advice I would give is, if you don't have the tools to do this, it would be to go somewhere that can give you those tools at a very competitive and good rate, and that would be, for me, would be joining ABN. That was the big turning point for us. We had all these aspirations, we had all these dreams, but we couldn't deliver it. Big practice growth experts came and they advise on, this is what other practices have done. You know, they can relate to that situation and say, well, have you tried this? Have you tried that? Which is a great step forward. So effectively, you're getting kind of a mentor. And as my second son came along, you know, I spent more time at home. I took the 2 weeks paternity leave. Whereas Joshua, who was born on the Thursday, I was emailing from the bedside on the Friday, and I was back at work on the Monday. And then when Jude was born, who was our youngest, I had a month off. So one of the big things was to be there, and one of the things that I committed to was being at every nativity play and every sports day. I see 9 nativity plays a year now. It's as much as that is great. It does grow. It goes great on you a little bit, but I'm there at every performance, every school play where they sit and just they stare at the front and I stare at the back of their heads. We are there, and it's important to me to be there. So because of the strains that it originally caused on us, and that fractured relationship that we had now. I mean, now they're like my best friends again. So which is how it should be between a father and his sons, and you know, and I'm grateful that I'm able to do that, and the things that we've learned and implemented through ABN and the tools they've given have allowed us to do that. So it's been a magnificent change, to be fair.